Hi, Jeff Rockley, United Testing Sales Manager, United Testing Systems. Here I'm going to demo the United SSTM 10 kilonewton machine. This is a tabletop model. We sell it as a 20 kilonewton, a 10 kilonewton, or a 5 kilonewton. So you can have any size load cell capacity you want. This has 42 inches of stroke and 17 inches here between the columns. Full universal test machine. Can do tension, compression, flex, shear, peel, hold load test, cycle test. It's wide open. Got the Dell computer over here. This is the United controller. It's a USB controller with 6 channels of acquisition. I have time, position, load with 3 extra strain channels. Just hooks up USB to any maker model computer. I just have a Dell Optiplex. And then our Datum 5 software runs on top of Microsoft Access and stores a complete database for the end user. So basically running a test, I'm going to test these strips to begin with. I have a 10-inch gauge length between my pneumatic grips. These pneumatic grips are a 1,000 pound capacity. They have serrated teeth. They do have a lot of options as gripping. They can grip with rubber inserts, serrated inserts, smooth. I can have up to 3 inches wide, so I can have 1x1, 1x2, 3x3, 4x4, so depending on what the application is. And I have a foot switch operation for the actual opening and closing of these grips. These grips do have levers on them to activate them at the grip, which I like better. We put the switches on the actual grip itself. But on this one, we have a foot switch in here for operation. This is set at 10 inches. I've set the machine as a 10-inch gauge length. To run a test, I just come over to New, and I select what test I want to run. I have some armor strip. I'm going to hit apply. Machine comes in, defaults to all the accessories it's going to use. It knows what load cell it has and what capacity it is. It knows its extensometer. I'm using the running crosshead with a 10-inch gap. Come over, fill out the report sheet. I can say, you know, the company, Baker Hughes, the operator. I could have coil numbers, batch numbers, whatever you want. You can have up to 12 items here to actually set up for an actual test report. Part numbers, specification numbers, PO, work order. Every customer has those different. And I come in here and I measure my samples. I say this is sample number 1. It is about 3/4 inch wide, so 0.75. And it has got about a 20 thou thickness, so I'm going to say 0.026. At this point, the machine's given it a report number, which is tied to a test number and a date. If I wanted to do another test, I could actually sit here and say duplicate the sample. I could say this is sample number 2, and I could measure a second sample. So the width is about 0.75. And the thickness is 0.21, 0.021. Hit enter. At this point, I just come up, select the template, or select the test sample, load it in the grips. Then it runs through yield. So here's my meters over here. I have time, position, load, extension. She's at about 660, 670. Boom, she busted. So when the load drops, the test is over. Machine prompts me for a comment. You may enter in comments now, you can enter them later. These are all preferences for the end user. So I basically sit, remove my specimen, hit enter to return. With no knockdown area, the coupon broke inside the grips. There's no actual reduced area for the gauge length here. So the machine automatically comes over to the results. I have width, thickness, I have brake PSI, brake elongation, peak PSI, peak elongation, peak pounds. I have a yield PSI and a modulus automatically calculated. The machine saves all the data. You could actually come over here and look at the analysis by the markers. I have the modulus calculations, I have the yield, I have break point, I have peak, I have every single point taken during the test. The machine runs 300 points a second acquisition, and it trims it down to a manageable rate. To run the second sample, roll over sample number 2. It's ready to go. Open the grips. Apply the sample. Hit T to test, or click on test. Now we're running sample number 2. And the machine's just waiting for a drop and load to end the test. Test templates can be programmed to end on any sort of break sensitivity, ending strain point, ending load point, ending position point, cycle count. She goes. She's stretched 28% of a 10-inch starting point. And now she's going to break. Broke in the center. Nice. I open the grips up. Move the specimen. Tell the machine to come back to 0. Now I have the results for both tests here. I can also go into the reports and print out a report in the Microsoft Access section of the machine. So basically I can come over here and print out my test report. I'd have the logos there. I have all the results for both specimens with all of the sample information. I could also draw the curves if I wanted to. I could print out the curves. Both specimens on one page. They're all set by report number and date. I can also print out reports with just the graphs and the results. So I can come over to the reports and print whatever I want over here. There's a bunch of report options. Now back to the test. If I want to sit here, I want to go over, I'm going to run another test. I'm going to run these rubber dog bones real fast. So basically the operator just comes in and says new. Selects the test they want to run. I have a D412 rubber tensile. Hit apply. Now the machine defaults to its settings. So I have a 2-inch grip separation, and I have the same load cell. So what I'm going to do is set the machine to 2 1/4 inches grip separation as my original gauge length. So I come over here, jog the machine down. Set it 2 1/4. The machine automatically re-zeroes its position. So it's ready to go. Say this is sample number 1. I know it's a 0.25 wide and the thickness is 0.072. So I can also go over and I could hit batch mode and the machine will say, all right, I already have 3 of these. I could change the thicknesses as necessary, or I can just run them. I'm just going to open her up, stick my coupon in, and hit T to test. The D412 test, the test speeds are all set. It's going to go 20 inches a minute, so it's all set per the specification parameters. She runs the failure. Sample's broke, it asks for a comment, I come back to 0. Machine automatically gives me the results. I have the tensile PSI, tensile elongation, break elongation. I have the modulus at 10%, 50% and 100%. So at this point I could do another one. Come back to sample info. Number 2 is sitting there ready to go. Click on task, and here she goes. Operating machine's the same every time. Select the task, hit apply, fill out the report information, and measure the samples and run. So here I have the results. You go into reports. You can go to reports. And I could come in here and I could print out the test results for my D412 test, where I have tensile PSI, elongation at tensile, elongation or PSI at break, elongation at break, modulus is at 10, 50, 100%. Those are all done by markers predetermined. And also print the curves. So those are the 2 samples on top of each other. I have one more left, not a big deal. I'll just test the third one. Test. All right, return to 0. Now I have my 3. The machine does give the results for all 3 coupons. It also gives mean, standard deviation, max, min, range. And you can also put your minimums by specification or part number in here, and the machine will actually accept or reject or control any of your results on your report sheet.